She says, "Hi Heather, I love when you teach. I could use some advice regarding one of my children. He is a very sedentary 17-year-old. He reads and studies a lot, works and doesn't play or read, and enjoys sports or activity. He is a very picky eater. Although I fed my children healthy food when they were young and I had complete control, he only likes a few foods now. Fried chicken strips, pizza, calzones, Campbell's chicken noodle soup, not my homemade, cheese tortellini, rolls and biscuits, chicken quesadillas, french fries, chips, and many desserts and sweets. On the more nutritious side, he will eat frozen blueberries and Granny Smith apples and will occasionally force himself to eat Greek yogurt that I sweeten with stevia, protein shakes, peanut butter. He now works and drives, so he has started a habit of going through drive-thrus and getting pizza after work. I struggle with being a healthy weight, and my husband has been in a habit for a while of eating lots of chips and ice cream at night watching TV. My son joins him in this activity. They are both gaining weight. I know from personal experience and from hearing from many of your guests that talking with your children about diet and weight is a delicate subject and can impact a person forever. He doesn't like what he sees when he gets on the scale at the doctor, and he has expressed that he would like to get some weight off. I suggest a few months back that he just try to stay where he is for now and figure out what it takes to help keep his weight where it is and to weigh himself and log it. I don't think he took my advice. He is really gaining weight and he loves food. He is very obedient, sweet kid, but he can be defensive and stubborn too. He is already self-conscious at the beach, and he has commented before that he isn't confident about his physique. I know it will affect the way he interacts with girls and eventually his ability to do things and enjoy life. I love him and I am concerned, and I want him to learn sooner and do better than I did. I want to help him without hurting him. How would you suggest bringing up maintenance to him? How would I explain what it is and why to do it? What else does he need to know? I would love to see you do a course for kids and teens. All right, so let's talk about this. Now, I answered a question, I want to say maybe last session, but it could have been the one before, where somebody asked about being honest with their kids about what they were doing, you know, how much is too much. So this is all very much dependent on age. This young man, and I'm going to say young man because he's 17 years old and he's probably going to be moving out within the next few years. He's going to be going to college. He's going to be a legal adult. And when we're talking about that age group, I feel like we can change the conversation a little bit. So if we're talking about younger kids, I suggest painting it under the guise of I'm showing myself parental love, I'm putting all these healthy habits and behaviors so I can eat well, like I encourage you to eat well, really kind of trying to stay away from the whole making them food obsessed, bad foods, good foods, tracking foods. We don't need young kids going there, in my opinion. But when we're talking about a soon-to-be adult, a 17 going on 18-year-old kid, I would actually be focusing on life skills that he's going to need when he leaves the home. And what I would start with is this idea of hopefully he's gotten some kind of budgeting experience where he's going to know how to manage a checking account, where he's getting some kind of a pay, allowance, whatever, and he's learning how to manage money. And what I would start to talk to him about is there's a really easy way to start to fix some of this, and that's by kind of being similar to being monetarily responsible is being calorically responsible. And what I would share with him is some of the stories of, you know, some of the people that have been on the show where they started out heavy, maybe when they were in their teens or into college, and then but instead of learning how to maintain, they basically started dieting and then kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And usually for them, it would catch up in the, you know, most of the people that have come on the show, it's usually like their 30s, 40s, and so on, before they've actually turned the ship around. You can save him a lot of time if he's willing to do it. Here's the problem. Kids, you can give them the best information. You can lead by example, but sometimes you'll have a kid, and you don't get to choose this, you might have a kid who needs to learn through trial and error. They may have to walk through a lot of discomfort and pain and come out on the other side to really have that that lesson resonate. And you can't dictate or control that. I know it's sad, and I know we want what's best for our kids, but sometimes what's best for our kids is also learning from their own mistakes. Sometimes that experience is the most valuable teaching tool, and what we hope for as parents is that it's not going to be one that permanently injures them or causes them, permanent damage, right? So what I would suggest is explaining it to them like that. Say, you get so much allowance per week, you put so much away, right? You're trying to live within this parameter. Well, calories work very much the same way, and I would explain to him how to figure out what his maintenance calories were. And the reason I would encourage him to think about learning to maintain, because chances are, based on the foods you listed here, he's probably eating really above his maintenance calories, especially if his weight has been progressively going up. So what I would encourage you to think about is, focusing on just teaching him how to maintain it first, get to those calorie allotments, and then where I would get really super creative with him, I would take this laundry list of meals that he likes, the fried chicken strips, the pizza, calzones, all that kind of stuff, and I would teach him how to make those for himself. And I would buy him 2 devices. I'd buy him an air fryer and a crock pot, okay? I would get him both of those things. And the reason I would get, I would get him I meant to say an air fryer and a microwave. That's what I meant to say. Air fryer and a microwave. And here's what I would do. I would teach him how to buy chicken strips that are like Tyson chicken strips and put them in the air fryer, not a vat of oil, right? And teach him how to cook them in there. They're actually really good. Same thing with crinkle cut French fries. Those suckers do really well in an air fryer. So what I would first do is teach him how to buy these things, have the air fryer, have the microwave, and pretty much how to make all of these things in those 2 devices. And for far, far less calories than what he is going to do if he grabs them out at a to-go restaurant. And honestly, the air fryer, he can pretty much have those things done in 10 to 15 minutes. So it's just as quick as it would be to go through drive-through. So that's one of the things I would begin working with him on, because every single thing, honestly, pizza, I would teach him how to just look for find some brand he likes that he can heat up in the microwave, or that he could throw in his air fryer, and make himself. Calzones, if he can get used to using something like a Joseph pita wrap, he can make some really great calzones and fraction of the calories. So teach him how to make all the foods he likes and make it in a way that he has control over the calorie content, and that way he can still work in eating out time to time, but he's not depending on it for his regular routine eating. And it really could just start at home right now. You do it for him, teach him how to do it, and honestly, those meals between the air fryer and the microwave are totally doable for a kid his age. So that's what I would be focusing on, in combination with teaching him maintenance calories as if he was talking budgeting with you, and make it very non-judgmental. Hey, this is how many calories you have for like a guy your size and age for maintenance. Let's see if we can make this work on that budget. Like, what does that even look like? Maybe just kind of, teach him this idea, because honestly, if he can halt the weight gain, and he can even maybe, get used to eating in a way at his maintenance, he could always cut back just a hair. But my concern is most kids gain weight in college because, 1, they're not prepared to cook, and 2, they're exposed to a lot more party foods and drinking that they might not have been doing when they lived with their parents. So I would encourage him just to learn how to manage this at this point. Again, you can present this information. You can teach him how to make all those foods. If he doesn't want to do it, sometimes you have to allow them the space, even though I know you want to jump in and save him from himself. Give him the space so he can learn in the way that will work for him.